It's that time of year again. It's getting darker earlier and the nights are getting longer. And for millions of drivers, that means they'll be turning on their headlights for the first time in months. For many, they'll see that their lights aren't working correctly, front or rear. Now, lighting used to be a simple DIY job. Simply get behind the unit, take off the cap and put in a new bulb. But with vehicles becoming more complex, more components underneath the bonnet, increased crash structure, and more compact cars, lighting is now a mainstay of garage work. And that means that workshops need to understand the market carefully. New technologies such as LED lighting are coming in, but that doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities for garages. In addition, they need to understand that communicating with the customer is key for what is still perceived to be an easy job, so that they can understand why there's a labour rate attached. One thing is clear, the way forward with lighting is complex, but also easy to understand once you know the market.
Yeah, it's really important, obviously, because obviously lighting is a safety product on a vehicle, isn't it? Of course. So lighting, signaling, and all those, all those applications, brake lights, forward lighting, indicators, massive, massive safety feature on a vehicle. So we really encourage garages at this time of year to upgrade, check, change, and advise also customers then what other options are available. So it might not just be a standard bulb, but that you might want to upgrade them to a bulb that provides more light, longer lifetime. So we just really, really push those messages during the clock change season, as we call it, the lighting season. So yeah, it's just really important. There's profit opportunities for those garages as well to upsell. So rather than just replacing a single H7 or H4 lamp, or bulb, as you want to call it, offer the upgrades where there's bigger margins, bigger profit opportunities for the garage.
Of course, new technologies mean that it might be more than the bulb replacement that is required. LED light units and daytime running lamps may fail, requiring an entire headlight unit to be changed, or even a rear light unit. There could also be electronics issues that could require an entire diagnostic process. One thing is clear, however, with the more complex lighting, sometimes workshops will need to think outside the bulb.
But the bulb itself is also changing. Or is it? Is LED technology applicable to bulbs?
It's I think the major development in the last few years has been around LED technology, and there has been two strands to that LED development. There has been the LED light units, which are fitted as a completely homologated unit to the front of the vehicle's headlights, and that replaces the old sort of bulb with a complex surface headlamp. They are a non-replaceable part, and they are designed to last the life of the vehicle. Most people will know them by like matrix LED technology or LiDAR LED technology, and they do have some really quite interesting and quirky features. The other strand is the development of LED bulbs. So these are bulbs that will still work in the housing for the halogen bulbs, but instead of obviously being a filament component product, it is an LED bulb. The difficulty that's caused us in the UK is the UK, even though we are not part of Europe, we still sign up to the UN ECE regulations on vehicle components, and up until recently there was no regulations for an ECE bulb. So in the UK, the government's rules were very clear that for vehicles driving on the road, they had to have a ECE bulb fitted for all external light sources. And so headlamps being external, if you had an LED bulb in there, it couldn't have ever been legally compliant. They then messed around with the rules and regulations in the UK and said that pre-1986 cars, which are obviously more of a classic older model, they would be allowed to pass MOTs if they had an LED bulb in them. And I think motorcycles, or what they call single source headlamp vehicles, so it could have been like a quad bike or something like that, they would all be allowed to have LED bulbs in as well. But the rules still stated that there was no UN ECE regulation.
There have been stories in the press about the cost of a bulb versus what garages are charging. But these are based on press releases that don't take into account the complex nature of light replacement and the labour rates included. So why is it important for workshops to educate customers when it comes to knowing how to replace a bulb, and to make sure they can build on that confidence and trust and help them understand that it is no longer a simple process?
Ultimately, wherever you go, there's a labour element to it, isn't it? And you're right in the sense that it is no longer a case of take the headlight out, put a new bulb in, put the headlight on. There's vehicles you've got to remove the whole bumpers, some you've got to remove the real wheel arch, I've heard, and even remove the wheel, which is just insane that they've gone that far to change a bulb. So fundamentally, 100%, I think they should be charging their time, because ultimately, I'd assume as well, the end consumer expects that as well. Once they probably know the understanding behind why it's cost that much. But that's probably then the education piece as well. And I think long gone are the days where it is purely a big lift up in September, because you kind of do get all year round sales now, but there is a dramatic increase. As soon as you hit September for the next 6 months, it's kind of that main season is when people are using their lights. And you do have people who generally during the summer don't drive at night, so they don't even know if their bulbs are gone, which unfortunately is one of the natures of the kind of early nights, I guess. So yeah, no, 100% there is a big increase going into the winter months.
With the darker evenings and more vehicles using their lighting, there will be the inevitable discussion around headlight glare. This really took off in 2024 and at the beginning of this year, and is set to continue as drivers once again find themselves facing down what they consider to be headlights that are just too bright. But what is causing headlight glare, and how can garages help to reduce it?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously headlight glare is a big topic at the moment. I am actually personally responsible for some of that glare. I mean, not long ago, I was in this garage where I'm just waiting for my car right now to be serviced and MOT'd. I came back here with my headlights literally pointing to the sky, and I was getting flashed constantly on the motorway. So, you know, and I knew that, I personally knew that there was something wrong because I work in this industry and with lighting. So I came here and asked them to check the headlights, and actually the alignment was completely out. It was top of the alignment. So they kindly adjusted it for me, and instantly that evening I could see that we were then back to the right levels. But I personally know that. But yeah, I think for garages, it's just making sure during those service and MOT times they're potentially giving a free bulb check or whatever it might be, just to check as the clocks change that the alignment of their headlights is correct, you know, and just popping it on the MOT headlamp beam alignment tester and just seeing where they're at and making that small adjustment. In terms of bulbs and obviously fitment of bulbs that could cause glare, there are a lot of cheap products out there on the marketplace where they haven't been precisionally manufactured. So we've tested a lot of bulbs ourselves in Leeds and seen that the production of some of these cheaper quality bulbs is just not to the standard it should be, although they are EC approved. The filament alignment, for example, in that manufacturing is completely off. And again, when it's then in the headlamp itself, because the filament's off, it's throwing the light in the completely wrong places.
So lighting is more complex, but it's also an opportunity for workshops, an opportunity to educate customers, an opportunity to upsell and explain the reasons why you are offering better bulbs and lighting products. Ultimately, lighting is no longer seasonal. Some drivers will find their daytime running lights might fail during the summer months, for example. But having an understanding of lighting is key. Key to make sure that you keep your customers informed, keep your staff up to date, and ultimately make sure that you're getting the best opportunities for everybody when it comes to vehicle lighting.